guys, it's Kathleen, and today we are going to be having a discussion about whether numbers matter on booktube. This is a conversation that has been prevalent in our community for a while, and you may have seen some kind of variation of this. Oftentimes people will tweet things like, why am I not gaining any subscribers? I'm doing so much. I'm putting out videos all the time. I don't know why I'm not gaining subscribers and growing my channel properly. On the flip side, people also put out tweets that are along the lines of, I don't even care about numbers. I don't care how many views I get. I am just here to make content and to make people happy. And if I get even 5 subscribers, and I'm going to be happy with that. Sometimes it's the same people tweeting these two things, although usually they are tweeting them on different days. It's not like a sort of back and forth thing. But it brought me to the question of whether numbers actually matter on booktube and why the heck we're here. I'm going to be honest with you. When I first joined booktube, I had higher expectations for numbers than I have now. I thought growing my channel would be so easy, gaining subscribers would not be hard at all, and I would be like in the thousands in a year or something. Unrealistic expectations entirely. I'm probably not the only person that thinks something like that, and there are people who grow that quickly. I'm just not one of them. And I think when you see those people, you start to develop unrealistic expectations for yourself. Personally, I've had to come to grips with the idea that numbers aren't going to be what keeps me here, because obviously if they did, I wouldn't be here. But that's not necessarily the same thing as saying that numbers don't matter. So first off, why do we even measure numbers? Do we literally just look at them just for our own self-gratification? Is there a point to them at all? Would it be better if we had no subscriber counts or anything like that and no one could tell how they were growing? I'm gonna be real and say probably no. I actually find it helpful to know how I'm growing. I like the stats. I like to know how quickly I'm growing. I like to know how many people are actually watching my videos and staying through to the end, because that's something YouTube can tell you. And the reason I like having those numbers is that they help me think of ways to grow my channel and make better content. Now that's something I might not be able to do if I didn't have access to those numbers. I do know people who do turn off the subscriber count and things like that, and they personally don't like to see it. I think that's totally fine, but personally for me it wouldn't work. I like knowing where I'm at. I don't check it as obsessively as I did when I first started. I would check like 20 times a day. It was ridiculous. But I do check it, you know, once a day just to see. And I think that there actually shows that numbers do have a bit of an impact, because channels that show subscriber counts are just generally more likely to gain more subscribers. I don't know the exact logic or science behind it, but we are less likely to subscribe to a channel if we can't see how many subscribers they have, aka how popular they are. That's weird. I don't know why it is, but it's a thing. So in terms of growing your channel and making your content better, and even of getting more people to subscribe to you, numbers do matter. Now that's in a very technical sense. So do numbers really matter in the grand philosophical, we're all here for fun booktube kind of scheme? I'm gonna say yes. So let's look at both sides of the argument here. On the one hand, there's a side that says that you should be doing this for yourself and for fun. You shouldn't be doing it for other people. You're doing it because you love it. Those people will sometimes criticize people who say that they're disappointed when their subscriber counts are growing, because they honestly see it as something you just do for yourself as a hobby. It's not something you do to grow. It's not something you necessarily do to gain lots of subscribers and attention. And that is totally great for those people. If they see it as just a hobby and it's just something they do for fun and they really don't care how many subscribers they gain, then great. That's awesome. It tends to lead to a sort of negative attitude though, where if you do care about growth in your channel, then you're somehow a bad booktuber, which I think is incredibly stupid, but some people I guess think that. The premise behind that is that if you aren't doing something just for the love of it, then why are you doing it? As much as I want to agree with that line of thinking, I really just don't, because I don't think that's life. There are lots of things I do when I don't love them. I do work that I don't like to get paid. I go to classes I don't care about in order to graduate with a degree. I mean, not everything in life you do has to be done solely for the love of it. Like, I might not go to university and spend thousands of dollars if I didn't think I was going to get a useful degree I could use at the end of it. Frankly, I'm majoring in journalism, which is not something I majored in just for the love of it, but because I thought it would be more useful than other fields that I was potentially interested in. So I don't really buy the whole doing it for the love of it thing. So let's look at the other argument. And the other argument is basically that numbers matter a lot, and that you have the right to feel upset if your channel isn't growing, and that actually it can affect you and your self-esteem and make you not want to produce content. I generally agree with this perspective, but I think we should examine it a little more. So why exactly do numbers not growing make your booktube experience worse? A lot of it has to do with loneliness. I know so many people who in their booktube newbie tags have said that they joined this community to make friends. If you are not growing your channel and you are not getting views and people are not watching you, it's going to be hard to feel like you're making friends. If people aren't commenting on your tweets and interacting with you and replying to you, then it's hard to feel like you have anyone to talk to. So when you make these videos, you're essentially just shouting into a void void of nothingness. And that sucks. No matter how much you love booktube and no matter how much you love reading and you love books, shouting into a void of nothingness is not fun. No one wants to do it. No one wants to be forced to do it. And eventually, if you're forced to do it for long enough, you might quit. So that's the thing. Numbers contribute to your experience on booktube and YouTube in general. Someone said once recently that apparently about 20% of subscribers will actually see your videos. So let's say you have 100 subscribers, 20 people watch it. It's not really a lot of growth. There's not a lot happening. And you start to feel like you're doing something wrong. So in that sense, numbers really do matter a lot. Of course, to go back to the numbers don't matter thing, I do want to say that numbers should not define who you are as a person, not even really define the quality of your content. There are loads of people out there who are great YouTubers and booktubers who are doing great work and they just aren't getting the subscribers and views that they should be getting. Sometimes there's a solution to this, sometimes there's not, and that's just life. To be quite honest, I think if you are a likable person who is good at making friends, it's actually totally possible to have a really positive experience in this community and not necessarily grow a lot in terms of your channel. But I do think that's difficult and it's harder to reach out to people and meet new people if you don't grow in terms of your channel, in my opinion. I think at the end of the day, it's okay to be disappointed if your channel isn't growing. It's okay to be disappointed if you're not making a lot of friends or you're not getting a lot of comments on your videos. That stuff is totally normal. I was so disappointed when I first started and I just didn't know how to grow my channel and I didn't know why it wasn't growing. And honestly, sometimes I would compare myself to other YouTubers. I'd be like, oh, I still have more subscribers than them, or oh, they passed me now. Oh my gosh, like what am I doing wrong? That is the wrong way to go about it. And in that sense, if you are that kind of person, maybe don't focus on numbers because it's not going to do you any good. Didn't do me any good. But I also think that's not the majority of people. I was just really weird. Another thing I do briefly want to touch on here is I want to touch on the fact that numbers matter in terms of how YouTube treats you. If you don't have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time, you can't get advertising, which means no money for you. They also matter in terms of what YouTube will promote, how often you're likely to show up in people's feeds, how often you're likely to show up in suggested things. So the higher your numbers are, the better your chances are. That's kind of just a fact. That's how YouTube does things, and it's unfortunate, but it's how it goes. They're a business, it makes sense. So I would like to offer a conclusion to this, which is that I do believe that numbers matter quite a bit. Not only do they matter in terms of how YouTube treats you, but they matter in terms of all the other stuff I talked about. But really, I think for the most part, they mostly matter for yourself. They matter for the sake of your self-esteem. They matter for the sake of your motivation. I don't think they're that important in terms of determining your quality as a human being or as a YouTuber, but I think they do matter in terms of determining whether you want to keep going, whether you really love this. I think they're so key and integral to those things. If you don't see it that way, that's great. If numbers being low doesn't get you down, then that's awesome, keep doing you. But I think the majority of us are not like that. And so I think numbers do matter in the end, but mostly in a personal way. They matter for you and who you are. Because chances are, if you commit to doing something, you're going to define a part of yourself by how well you do it. So thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this discussion. If you have any thoughts on it, I would love to know. Please comment down below. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and hit the subscribe button if you're new here and you would like to see more of this space. I upload videos whenever, really. There's no longer an upload schedule. I kind of give up. It might go back Tuesdays and Fridays. We'll see. If you want to follow me on my social medias, I'm going to link them in the description. But in the meantime, I will see you guys next time.